This is Lisa Tucker, host of The Book Cover, which showcases local literary personalities. So listen to The Book Cover on the borderline. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Hi, this is Lisa Tucker. You are listening to The Borderline, and we are The Book Cover. And today I have a returning guest. I love returning guests because I've already made friends. Willie Pohl, author, Indigenous author of children's books. Hi, Willie. How are you?
Hi. Thanks so much for having me. I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm recovering. I'm recovering from the plague, but I'm good. You know, like I said, I'm I'm moving and I'm upright and I'm happy to be here and happy not to be sick in bed. So, and you know, this weather doesn't help. Now you're in PEI. What's the weather like?
It has been snowing for a couple days, actually. The roads are getting pretty messy, which is odd. We normally don't have snow in PEI until like January, I guess. But
oh wow,
yeah, we have buckets of it right now, unfortunately.
Oh wow, yeah. And being that it's on the East Coast, it's probably pretty windy, I would think.
Very, very windy, yeah. And we just moved even closer to the coast, so we're not very far from the water at all. So definitely windy, yeah.
Yeah, you want to wear your balaclava there. For
yeah.
sure. It's not just for robbing stores. It's for keeping your face nice and warm. Anyway, so Willie, now just to remind our listeners who maybe have forgotten your first interview, you are from Sault Ste. Marie.
Correct? I am, yes. Yeah, born and raised from the Sioux, was there most of my life. All my family's still there, and I'm there a few times a year.
That's awesome. And of course, everybody always asks, what high school did you go to?
I went to Cora.
Cora. Okay, my husband's a Colt, so he's going to really enjoy that.
Yeah,
but
I'm a Cora alumni.
You are a Colt. Okay, yeah, so is my husband, so he'll be happy. So in previous conversations, we've discussed Minnow, the girl who became part fish. And I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we talked, Together We Drum, Our Hearts Beat as One had just come out?
No, the other way around. So Together We Drum, Our Hearts Beat as One came out first. Okay. And then when we last talked, Minnow had just come out.
It had just come out. And how did the book do?
Really good. So Together We Drum has only been out for a year, just over a year. It came out last October. And Minnow then came out in the spring. So it's been out about, I don't know, like 6 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them are doing really well. Very exciting. It was kind of a short period of time to put two books out. And a third.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, you're really pumping them out. Like, you just have all these ideas that need to come out.
Yeah, so I have like about 7 coming out in the next few years.
Wow.
All the way up until 2027 right now, which is just wild to me. But yeah.
Wow. And who's your publisher? Remind me.
Yeah, so different publishers. For Together We Drum, it was Arsenal Pulp Press, and for Minnow, it was Medicine Wheel Publishing, and I have my third book coming out with Medicine Wheel Publishing as well.
Beautiful. And the third, I want to talk about the third book. Now I'm going to hopefully not butcher this too bad. My Little Ogichidaa? Oh, Ogichidaa. Okay. And what's the translation?
It means my little warrior.
Oh, I love it. And now you are Métis, so that is where these books come from. And you know, when I read your site, you know, I read up on my authors to make sure I know sort of what's going on. You are strongly tied to your family and the stories. It sounds like you come from a long line of storytellers. Are these stories that have been passed down?
I wouldn't say they're stories that have been passed down. They're definitely inspired by different things for sure. So like with my own background, like I've also been working in First Nations for the last like 10 plus years. And like a lot of Métis people in Ontario, like we have very mixed families. So I have like a lot of my cousins are First Nation. My great grandpa like spoke fluent Anishinaabemowin. And so there is like a lot of this like inter kind of mixing of cultures. And then with me like living and working on First Nations, a lot of my stories have been, obviously talk about my own experiences in those places and with the people that I have like come to love and call my second family. And so yeah, so my third book, my little Ogichidaa, is it's like a baby book about a mom who is about to give birth or gives birth to a baby, and it largely came from watching actually. So I work for the Moosehead campaign,
Yes.
and so one of the founders of the Moosehead campaign was Raven, and she started it when she was like 16, and she now she's in her 20s, and she has two beautiful babies. And I was watching her speak in front of thousands of people, while holding her baby and while pregnant with the second at the time. And I just remember like coming back and writing this sort of poem about Indigenous motherhood and passing on our traditions and what really does make a warrior and a warrior of culture and the next generation coming up and reclaiming so much. And yeah, so I created this baby book and I love it. I think it's one of the best things I've ever written.
Wow. And it doesn't come out until April, correct?
Yeah, right around Mother's Day, I think. Like April,
Oh,
May.
how nice. Yeah, perfect timing. Perfect time. Now, was that by design or just by accident?
Just by accident. Yeah, it kind of just went that way.
I love it. And who did you get someone different to illustrate this one, or did you stick with someone that you've already had?
Yeah, so Holly Pitchett illustrated this one, and she is an Anishinaabe woman and also a mother, which I think was really powerful and brought probably like so much inspiration into the artwork. And she's a woodland artist, so it's very like traditional woodland style. It's really really gorgeous, and yeah, I'm really really stoked about it.
Wow, yeah. I'm just looking at the cover, and the cover is even it's super powerful because obviously it has a pregnant woman, a mother looking like someone who is about to become a mother, and it looks like there's a light radiating from her belly, like where her baby is, and that really that tells me all I need to know about the book, basically. Like, what a great cover. Did you work with
Yeah.
did you work
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Did you work with the illustrator to, like, did you sort of tell her what you wanted, and then or did she read the poem and then come up with this?
Yeah, so I kind of had a couple different like notes in some of the things that I wanted to see in illustration, but largely like it was her. She did this one spread where there's the baby and the umbilical cord, and the baby is in the womb, but it's surrounded by stars. Because there's this story that in part kind of pulled into it a little bit and was top of mind when I wrote it. But it's an Anishinaabe story that when a baby is still in the spirit world and it's kind of like looking down from the spirit world, it chooses its parents. Um,
Oh, that's nice.
and yeah, and so I think it was just really really powerful, and I really really connected with a lot of the artwork that she did within it, and a lot of the imagery is kind of like the book does touch on some of the things like residential school, and loss of culture. And so I think the artwork is so beautiful, but also like there's so much power behind it.
Yeah, and you can see it. And like, for a book that translates to read My Little Warrior, you want that power behind. You want the visual power behind the words, and like the main page, it looks like you've got that right. Right, you got that right. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
wonderful. So So my little Ogichidaa. Do you have it there with you? Can you read a few?
Oh, I don't have it right in front of me. I don't have I definitely have a copy like on my computer, but I don't have a sample copy in actual text yet.
Right, because it's still in pre-order, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still in pre-order, and we don't have the physical copies yet. Hopefully soon. We're thinking maybe January. I will.
Oh, okay, yeah, and you'll
Have
look it
to
over
offer them.
and make the changes that need done. Does it still make you anxious when you get the proof of a book? You know, this is now your third time doing this. Does it still make you anxious, thinking, "Oh my God, did it turn out the way I wanted it to? Are there any mistakes?" I can imagine that anxiety.
I don't think I have any anxiety. It's mostly just like really, really exciting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I
Almost
think
like
for me,
you're giving birth. It's funny to see, we're using the birthing analogy again, but you're kind of giving birth to these things. These are your children.
yeah, and it's like I'll read a couple lines. I brought it up.
Yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Okay, so I'll just read one of my like favorite pages. But
Yeah.
my little Ogichidaa, I know you'll move mountains and you will make waves. You'll carry our culture, our language, and love for all of those babies in all of those graves. My little Ogichidaa, you are a medicine all on your own, and you are so loved that you'll never ever be alone.
That's
And then I kind of, yeah, it kind of goes into some like, there is some heavy topics. Like, I always describe the book as a book for moms and less for children. And I don't know if I should describe it that way because I think it's probably marketed to children. Um, but I feel like it's such a mom's book too.
Yes. Yes. I love this, that it's a Mother's Day book. Like, it'll come out for Mother's Day. Um yeah, that's very powerful just in what you read.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very powerful. Okay, so that comes out in April, and where can so I know people can pre-order on your site, correct? Willie Poll
Yeah, WilliePoll.com.
.com. So that's WILLIEPOLL.com. And they can also get your other two books from there, and there's different spots, Amazon. Now in town, I know that they are available at the Artesian.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, there is a couple local places that did have it, but I'm not exact. I don't have a list, and I don't know if they've like sold out. I know that it was challenging to get them into Kohl's, but they're in most chapters. Like Sudbury had it. It was really annoying because I like
yeah,
really put up a fuss to get it in my hometown, but it was very difficult.
That right, eh? Oh my God. Well, I knew they had at least one or two copies of Minnow and Together We Drum at the Artesian on Queen Street here. They have a lot of locally crafted arts and locally authored books, including yours. And I'm just looking too. You can get it on Amazon, so you can get the two that are already out, and you can pre-order My Little Ogichidaa for Mother's Day. Plan ahead. But something exciting that I read on your site, that Minnow, the girl who became part fish, is that you're going to be turning that into a graphic novel?
Yes, yeah, I am actually. Yeah, I almost like that's in the artwork phase right now, and so it almost is like an Indigenous superhero vibe. It really pulls in like water protectors. I'm really excited about it. It was sort of based in the West Coast because I was living there at the time, but I sort of pulled a lot of the origin story back to the Great Lakes. And so there's a lot of like a home Sault Ste. Marie feel throughout some of it, which is really cool, and has some of my own family history intertwined. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I think I remember. can't remember whether we discussed this the last time. I think you were talking about it or something, because I think I remember something about it. But so the original Minnow, the girl who became part fish, would you say that was directed towards like 8-year-olds around?
Yeah, I would say like 6 to 8.
Right. And then
Around that age group.
the graphic novel, would that be direct? Because that would you'd have to lengthen the story, right? You'd have to expand the story.
Yes. Yeah, it's hugely expanded. It's a lot longer, and it's like in comic book sort of version.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but
So how do you, was
yeah,
that easy or hard? I to take a story that's already been out there and now you're expanding it. So you don't want to change too much, right? Because it's the same story. How was that? Was that
well, yeah, it really is kind of a different story. Like I feel like Minnow just like touched on the key things of like water protection and bringing community together, and those are the key things that are in the graphic novel. But the graphic novel has like so much more of like a backstory and how Minnow sort of became Minnow, like how she's able to transform, um, like, and her connection to some of the animals there, and her family is tied in, and so it was really really fun. It was like I got to explore a lot of like my creativity so much more in depth than I do in children's books, I think, because I just had so much more to work with that I could put into it.
right? It was unlimited space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where children's books, you have to stay to a certain word count. I know that you don't want a children's book to be 500 pages, because
Yeah.
that's not gonna do well. um and who did you get? Did you get the same illustrator?
No. So she is a um, she is a woman from BC. Her name is Emily, um, and she works in like more of like a graphic novel style, I want to say. I don't really know what you'd call it. Like she does a lot of cool like kind of anime-ish, but like mixed with her own kind of like cultural components,
Right.
and it's really really cool. She's also like linked on my website. All the artists I work with are linked on my website. But
Right.
yeah, she's super awesome. I'm really really excited about it.
Is she also Indigenous?
She is, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're creating this club of talented Indigenous women.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like I get to work with some of the just most surreal artists. Like it's just been the best part of writing these things, is like meeting all of these talented creatives and just getting to see them like bring my vision to life, is incredible. Like they add so much of their knowledge and power in it, and yeah, it's amazing.
Wow, that's so cool. It's cool to think about. You guys are gonna have to get jackets for your club. Now, so the graphic novel version of Minnow, the girl who became part fish, that would be directed towards, I would say, like what do you think? Like a preteen to a young adult?
Yeah, I would say like the 12 to 14-year-old age range ish.
Right, right. And who's publishing that one?
That one's also with Medicine Wheel. Yeah, so they had loved Minnow and come back and asked me what I thought about doing a graphic novel version, and that's their first graphic novel that they're putting out too. So it's been like a learning curve, for all of us. Like I didn't even know the format of writing a graphic novel. Like it's a lot more like writing a TV script.
Oh, right. See, and I didn't even think of that. I guess
Yeah,
you'd
it's
have
definitely
to.
different than anything I've done.
Yeah, I guess so. So it was, the whole thing was you were learning on the go. You're learning on the job.
Yeah, but I think it turned out really good, and I'm really excited to see it kind of, to see it come to life.
Come to life. And what kind of, like, how many pages do you expect this to be? Is it going to be like a small, like you'd recognize like a comic book, or will it be a little bit thicker like you see graphic novels being now?
Yeah, definitely a bit thicker than a comic. I would say it's about 100 to like 150 pages.
Oh wow. So Willow's really you're getting detailed about Willow. Or sorry, not Willow.
Yeah, I
Minnow.
know. Yeah.
I always do
Yeah.
that. You know what? It's your first name, Willie.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Willow,
I
Willie
kinda
and Minnow. It's Willow. And when do you expect that to come out?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure. Like it's my first time seeing it come to the artwork phase, and so I really have no idea how long it takes to create art for something so large.
Right. Wow.
Um,
So
yeah,
it's in the
so
works. It's in the works.
it's in the works. It's going. Yeah, I'm not sure.
What was the? I'm curious. What was the biggest hurdle moving from traditional children's books to the graphic novel? You said you learnt as you went, and it was a whole different concept. What was the most difficult thing?
I think the most difficult thing for me, like going into graphic novels, was that you have to write a script, but you have to write a script where the image like changes at least slightly in each panel. So they can't just be talking to each other. They have to be talking to each other, and something has to be changing. Like they have to be doing something different in each panel. And that was kind of really challenging because even if you write a script that's like, hey, how are you? How was your day? Those panels nothing's changing in that conversation.
Right. So you had to write the action as well.
Yeah, you have to kind of lay out, like, do you want 3 panels on this page or 6 panels on this page? And it changes on each page, like it doesn't stay the same. And so, yeah, you have to write out like exactly I even had to kind of try and draw out in sketch format what I thought it would look like. And I'm a terrible artist, like visual artist.
Right.
So I'm really worried that Emily won't even know what she's looking at.
Are they
But I
stick?
tried.
Were they stick people?
Oh yeah, they're definitely stick people, and my whales look kind of just like giant blobs with fins.
Well, that's basically what a whale is.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They're big blobs with fins and a tail.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that would be difficult, right? Because you have to fill the space with something, because this is as much a book as it is a visual piece of art as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have been, yeah. Jeezy Josie. You know what? Old dog, new tricks. I'm too old for that business. I to learn. I'm too old for new tricks. Wow. So that's exciting though. It must have been challenging. Had you always wanted to do a graphic novel, or was this all at the bequest of the publisher?
Yeah, like it. I mean, I hadn't really ever thought of it before. It was definitely kind of at their request, but once they said it, I was like, oh yeah, definitely. Like that's super cool. I would love to do that. I didn't really know if I was capable of doing it, but I kind of just fake it till you make it, I guess.
Right, yeah. That's my motto through life.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it worked out, and we'll see. I hope to do more in the future, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, it sounds like you're really flexing your artistic muscle for sure. What is next? What can you tell us? What is on the horizon?
Yeah, so I have a book called The Stories in Our Food, and that comes out in the winter of, like, next winter.
Okay, so 2024, 25?
Yeah, like either like December, January. So
Okay.
right when the year changes.
Right.
And it's with Anik Press. So different publisher again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a book about traditional foods, and I think it's going to be really beautiful. It's my first book that doesn't rhyme. My first children's book without rhyme.
Oh, and how was that?
It was interesting, like to try and write poetic and soft, but without rhyme was more challenging than writing in rhyme for me.
Oh, really? And for most people, it's the other
Mhm.
way around.
Yeah, I just couldn't. Every time I read it, I was like, it doesn't sound right. Like, it doesn't sound catchy, or yeah, I didn't. It took a long time and a lot more editing than most of my other books, I think,
Yeah. Why didn't
to
you?
go through to be happy.
Why didn't you do rhyme? Or was it just not a
Yeah,
good fit?
so Um, yeah, so I when I had talked to the publishing house, they had really loved the idea, but they didn't want it in rhyme, and a lot of publishers don't want to put rhyming books out. They're difficult to translate,
Uh,
um,
yeah.
and yeah, and so I had kind of made the decision that I was going to try it and see if I could do it. I just thought, like, as a writer, I think like I'm always trying to write different things or in different genres. Even if I don't publish them, just to kind of see where my skill is. Like, I don't really know where my skill lies yet. Um,
Well, I
and
think
just
in
kind of
writing
figure it out.
children's books, first of all,
Yeah.
I think that might be a skill.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed to own that now, Willie.
Well, yeah.
I think you can own it.
I definitely always thought I would write something more like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, well,
Like a
hey,
big
there's still
fantasy.
time. There's still
Yeah,
time.
for sure. One day, one day.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds awesome. And have all your books so far been translated? Like, have they been translated into other languages yet?
Yeah, so Minnow is translated into French, but Together We Drum is and Ogichidaa will be translated as well. But Together We Drum has not been, and I think it's just Medicine Wheel Publishing translates a lot of their books into French
Mm-hmm.
because they sell to educators. So having Duolingo versions is important, but a
Right.
lot of publishers don't. So I don't know if Together We Drum will ever be translated, but
Okay. Yeah, and like you said, it's hard when there's a rhyming scheme going on.
yes, it's difficult when there's a rhyme. I just had this conversation the other day because a French teacher came and asked if I had a French copy of Minnow. I did, so I gave it to them, and I said, I'm actually really curious. Like, does it rhyme? Like how?
Oh yeah.
And she read it. She goes, yeah, it rhymes in French. Like the translator had made it rhyme,
Oh
which I
wow.
thought was amazing. So
That's
I'm
a
like,
whole
I
skill.
wonder if
That's
it's an exact translation. Like, obviously it can't be if it rhymes.
right.
So I'm one.
It'd be
So it's
interesting
funny
to
because I've
see.
never looked at them.
It'd be interesting to translate it back and actually see what it says.
Yeah, see if it's the same.
Right.
So yeah, that was interesting. But I really love that it's available in French. I was just in Montreal at Indispire, like a big Indigenous education conference,
Yes.
and there were so many teachers who were just like, we never get anything Indigenous in French.
Oh wow. Now would
Yeah.
has there would there be any worth or value to translating them into a First Nations language?
Oh, for sure. I would absolutely love to. Um, Again, difficult with the rhyme.
Yes.
And most of my books do have like some words that are in Anishinaabemowin. Generally, like not a whole bunch, but there usually is definitely some language components. But I would absolutely love to do that
Yeah. I
one
could.
day.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great if all of your books were translated into Canada's 3 languages?
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, once again, Willie, it's always a good interview because I'm amazed at some of the ideas that you come up with and the things you've got going on. I think it's amazing. We need more books like this in libraries, in school libraries, in the hands of children, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous. I love what you're doing. Of course, you've got the background, you've got your Indigenous studies, and I'm always excited to see what comes out next. So thanks so much for joining us today from PEI.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, thanks. Willie Poole, author of children's books Minnow, the Girl Who Became Part Fish, Together We Drum, Our Hearts Beat as One, My Little Ogichidaa, which is the newest. And thanks so much, Willie, for joining us here on the book cover, On the Borderline. This is Lisa Tucker, and remember, don't judge a book by its cover.
First and foremost, I am not taking credit for
Hi, I'm Willie Poole, author of Together We Drum, Our Hearts Beat as One, and I listen to the book cover with Lisa Tucker on the Borderline. Be great.
electric